are all about inspiring women to step into their power. My name is Joyce Barton. I am one of your co-hosts coming to you live from Melbourne Beach, Florida. And I'm joined today by my co-host, Christina Burnett from Seattle, Washington, and Kelly Brown in Sacramento, California. So we've got you covered here from coast to coast. And what we'd like to do today is get you ready to be inspired by an awesome guest speaker that we have with us today. And his name is Attila Domos. So what we would like to do is just take a minute here and let Attila tell us a little bit about his story. And maybe Christina, you can start with a question for Attila.
Sure, thank you, Joyce.
Hi, ladies.
Hey, Attila, what's
Hi,
going
Hi,
on?
good
Attila.
morning.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having me
joining us. We
Yeah,
really
thank
appreciate
you.
you.
in this early afternoon here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on a beautiful sunny day.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
Oh,
awesome.
and now sorry,
Yeah,
Uh,
it's
I'm outside. The day is so beautiful that I have to be outside, and of course there's a truck turning around, and I'm sure we'll have dogs barking, and when the
that's
mailman
okay. You
comes
know what?
through, it's
That's
like,
life.
that's
Yeah,
yeah,
life.
it is.
that is
It's
life.
all
So
I've
anyway,
good.
got,
thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you. I've got three little ones in the background and a puppy too, so you might hear some noise on my end. But
So there we
Attila,
go.
yeah, why don't you just start by telling us a little bit about your background? I mean, you've got such an inspiration story. Just share a little bit about yourself and your background, and um, just go from there.
Here's my mailman Eric coming down right now.
Awesome.
Sorry, I'm doing a live video interview, and
Tell him I said hello.
Eric says hello to
Hi,
all you
Eric.
ladies.
Hi, Eric.
Hey, Eric.
I'm cutting through.
Yeah, I'll say hi. Is that for me?
Yeah,
Oh, bummer.
I'm cutting
He's
through.
carrying a box. I got excited.
Darn.
Um, at any rate, again, my name's Attila Domos, and I'm in a wheelchair. I'm a T11, T12 paraplegic. Broke my back in 1993, and I had a falling accident the same night that my former band, Big Bad Wolf, and I signed a recording contract. Um, so we signed a contract around 8 o'clock, and I broke my back around 1 o'clock in the morning. Um, as you can guess, it was a life-altering kind of event, you know. But since then, I've gotten into a lot of things that I probably would have never have gotten into had it not been for the accident. Like weightlifting, I got into powerlifting. Well, I mean, I was always into weightlifting, but I never got into powerlifting. And I did that, and I actually won state back in, I think it was 97. Then I got into hand cycling, won the Pittsburgh Marathon in 2010. Last year, finished in 19 minutes in the Great Race here, which is a 10K. I was the only guy competing, so I won first and last, I guess, and everything in between. But what I did is basically I did a course run for them. So this year we're going to have a nice full complement of racers, so it should be a lot more fun. Um, but my latest challenge that I'm doing is I've been putting together a trip around the world. And, I love physical challenges. I mean, I still write music, and I wrote a book, my autobiography, you can find on Amazon.com and on Kindle. What else? Let me see. I do a lot of things. Sometimes I forget what it is. I got into video.
Uh-huh.
I do video as well. In fact, I think I did a little edit for Kelly at one time for something you guys were doing, if I remember right.
I think
Um,
so.
but my latest challenge now is a trip around the world, which is actually it
Wow.
involves me swimming from New York City to Portugal or Spain. Haven't decided
What?
yet. It's going to be one or the other. Yep, we're going to start off by swimming the Atlantic Ocean, and then that probably will take about a year to year and a half, I think. I'm not quite sure.
Okay.
Then I'm going to hand cycle across Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, and then kayak from Japan to Hawaii, from Hawaii to Los Angeles, and then hand cycle back to the original starting point in New York City. So I'm thinking
Wow.
this will take between 4 and 5 years. And the reason we're
Wow.
doing it, yeah, the reason we're doing it, well, the reason I'm doing it is to raise a lot of money for many different charities. I'm looking to raise well over $100 million, and I know
Mhm.
it sounds like a huge number and a huge figure, and how am I going to do that? And I have many things in place. Some of them I can't get into for sort of copyright reasons, because
Sure.
I have to sort of copyright and protect this entire thing. But
Okay.
we're many. this what we're doing with Around the World has many different legs, many different arms, and including creating an app and allowing people to come follow with us, where they can watch either me swim or they can watch people on the ship, etc. They can see us as we're going around the world and doing our thing. So that's, and we're also going to do a talk show, um, radio slash TV show. That the beautiful thing nowadays is that thanks to the internet, as you guys well know,
Uh,
um, we don't have to rely on any national television or anything like that. We can just stream it right off the internet, right onto the internet, and build our viewers that way. So we're
yeah.
not at anybody's mercy. We can do
Right.
whatever we want.
Well, that's an unbelievable story, Attila. That's amazing. And as women, and the show's focused mainly on inspiring women to step into their power, but men are an important part of our lives. And even as moms, you never know when something like this might happen to, our son or daughter, and we're
Or
being
you.
faced with those life challenges. Anyone or us, that's right. And we just need to hear these amazing stories from people like you who don't stop in the face of adversity and keep going and take it to an amazing,
Hmm.
unbelievable new height. So I give you so much credit for what you're
Thank you.
doing.
Thanks. Yeah, I know.
Uh,
Actually, I know quite a few women who have children and have been paralyzed. And I'll tell you firsthand, it's tougher for
Wow.
women. Paralysis is
Hmm.
definitely tougher for women. I don't mean like mentally or anything, but it is physically, obviously, because you guys don't have the same upper strength body as upper body strength as guys do. But
Now wait a minute.
no, it's true. It's true.
I know, I know,
It's just genetics. I mean, I'm not
I
going to
know.
argue DNA.
No, I know.
But there there's a perception against women, and I don't have to tell you this, that you're the weaker sex, the fairer sex, and guys are more likely to run out on women who are paralyzed than vice versa.
Oh,
Mm.
It's tough either way, especially when there are children involved. Everything you do in life gets tougher, as I'm sure you know, Christina, right?
Oh yeah, yeah,
But
definitely.
but especially when you suffer a paralyzing accident, it's more likely that a guy's going to run out on you than a woman who's going to run out on a guy.
And a
And
guy.
that's just a fact.
wow,
That's a
that's an
fact.
interesting fact. That's
Yeah,
something I never
that's
realized.
statistics. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's because we're the stronger sex.
Well,
No, I.
in certain ways that's true. In certain ways that's true. I mean, strength doesn't just come like, this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's
wait a
mental
minute. Hold
strength.
up. Hold
There's
up. Back it up
yeah,
there, Attila. Show us that
yeah.
again.
Oh.
Woo!
Wow,
That's awesome.
that can be
All right.
That's
appreciated.
Now I
that's
can
what
see
that's
how
what's
you
gonna
can
get me across the
swim.
ocean.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
That's what I was just going to say.
It's
That's
there's different. I mean, there's mental strength, there's physical strength, there's spiritual strength. There are many different ways you can draw strength. And the more you can draw from, the better it is. The more complete your life can be.
that's right.
And I
Yeah.
would tell
Attila,
anybody, yeah, go ahead.
was it for you something that just the kind of person you are when the accident happened, did it just kind of happen naturally and quickly for you to just have a positive outlook and just keep building on your life, or was there a moment where that wasn't the case and it took you a while to go snap out of that?
It took me about a week and a half to 2 weeks maybe to kind of snap out of it. Because obviously, when you initially break your back, it's a lot of trauma going on. I remember waking up about. Well, here's a crazy thing that happened, and I'll get right back to this. My friend John lost his leg about 3 months before I did, and it was on the same street where my accident happened, about a block and a half away.
Whoa.
It was a two
Wow.
Jeep collision accident, and a Jeep landed on his leg, and he lost it. Yeah, but he's done well. He's went on. He's been out in LA for a while. He's done acting. He's been on TV shows and stuff like CSI and etc.
Wow.
But first, they got me to the hospital on a gurney, and I'm laying there, and I hear people talking, and they all sounded like nurses, doctors. I couldn't tell the difference. I'm kind of out of it, and all I heard in my mind was something about cutting off a leg. And I just remember waking up screaming, "Don't cut off my legs! Don't cut off my legs!" And I remember a nurse saying to me, "No one's gonna cut off your legs, honey. Just relax." And I just, oh, okay. And I went back to sleep. And the next time I woke up, to a room full of people, and I had no idea where I was, what happened. I just look around. I see all these people staring at me. I brace, and I was sort of, I couldn't move. And I'm looking around, what's going on, and then of course Dr. Kang comes in and told me that I'll never walk and have children and all that stuff. And initially, I'm sort of a what's it called, oppositional defiant type person. So if you tell me you can't go up those steps, I'm going to go up those steps just because you told me I can't.
Okay.
So my first instinct was like,
Have a
no way.
glitch.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, are we okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
good.
okay. So my first reaction to him was like, screw you. No, I'm gonna walk. Yeah. But unfortunately, it's not about willpower, mental power. It does come down to actual science and how much damage there's been to your spinal cord. And that's one of my biggest beefs with the media is they present paralysis um, falsely. All they do is stories on people who got paralyzed but they made a comeback and they were able to walk again. And and then and that drives me crazy. And I get into that in my book because it has nothing to do with how hard you work at coming back. I guarantee you nobody worked harder than I did at trying to get movement back. And even to this day, I still go out. I have parallel bars set up where I exercise and do pull-ups and walk back and forth. I'll spend 4 or 5 hours there a day, especially on days like this. Um, but it just comes down to it's 50-50. It depends on the severity of the injury. If you can make a comeback and you can, walk again, it's not because you worked really hard and you were able to do it. It's simply because the injury wasn't severe enough and you were lucky. That's all it is. I'm not saying this to anybody to not work hard. If you suffer an injury like this, work really hard because you still have to work at it.
Right.
Don't just sit back and say, oh well, it'll come back or it won't. No, work at it. If it comes back, great. But notice one thing, that anybody who makes a comeback, it's always within a year, and it's usually within a month or two, because that's how it works. Usually, whatever comes back within the first 6 months to a year is what you're gonna have. So,
So you
I was pretty depressed about my situation. Obviously, part of it was probably because of all the drugs they had me on, and part of it
Right.
was the realization of, whoa, what happened,
Right.
and then I didn't even think of all the other things that come with it, like your life falling apart, losing the recording deal, which we signed that night. Losing my job, losing the ability to walk. Eventually, my girlfriend then at the time, we'd already broken up, but it sort of made it easier for her to go on and do her things as well too. So there's a change. You start thinking, my God, how big of a burden am I on my family? That pops in your head almost immediately because nobody really wants to be a burden.
No.
So yeah, I was depressed. But what changed me is when I was in rehab, and there was this kid, Ronnie, and I was 25 when this happened to me. I'm 47 now. I was 25 when this happened to me, and most of the guys that were in there were around my age. That seemed to be, between 18 and about 30 seemed to be the age where most of us were. And there was this kid, Ronnie, from Ohio, who was he was the same age as me, and except he was quadriplegic. He was literally C1, just like Christopher Reeve.
Wow.
So I seriously doubt he's still alive today. But I remember going into his room just to see how he's doing. We would all sort of help lift each other up. And I went into his room to see how he's doing, and he had his own room. And he was laying in his bed, kind of, I don't know if you guys are familiar sort of how quads lay kind of usually in weird positions. He was kind of like that. And, his ventilator machine was going and all this noise in there. And he's laying there and he's just kind of doing this. And I went in, hey, Ronnie. And it took him, almost like a minute or so to say, hey, man, can you do me a favor? And I said, yeah, Ronnie, what do you need? And he said, can you please scratch my nose? Again, it took him like almost another minute to get it out. And, I go up and I get close to him and he had snot running down his face. I said, hang on a second, Ronnie, let me clean you off here. So I went and got some towels, paper towels, cleaned him up and everything. And I'm scratching his nose and he's just sitting there going, like it was the greatest feeling in the world. And that was my epiphany right there. That put everything into perspective for me. I said, man, my situation sucks, but this, forget it, man. I would rather take a bullet to the head than be like that. So
Yeah.
that was my wake up call.
And that's true that there's always a situation worse than yours, and
Yes,
learn how to make the best of where you are. And
yes, absolutely.
you
Well,
mentioned a
we
book. You
all.
mentioned you're writing a book there, Attila. What's the
Oh no,
title
it's
of your
it's
book?
already out.
Oh, it's
My
out.
my book's
Okay.
already, yeah, it's on Amazon and Kindle. It's called what is it called? Let me think for a second. Oh, because you shouldn't be afraid to chase your dreams. It's kind of a long
Awesome.
title.
Okay.
But
Good.
if
Great
you go to my
title.
website, at attiladomos.com, you will find everything I'm doing there. And I literally just started a crowdfunding fundraiser
Okay.
because my next step right now where I am, there's step one, the planning stage, and around the world, you got to plan out what you're going to do and plan as many things as you can right now. And right now I'm getting towards step two, which is to get out to LA and speak with agencies and bring this idea to them, find a reputable agent who can connect me with some of the stars in Hollywood to bring them aboard because it's going to take at least 10 million to launch this project. This isn't,
Yes.
it's not a small project. We got to have a ship, we got to have RVs, we got to have an entire support group, supplies, supply runs, how to rotate crew, etc. So especially out at sea. And I have those details all worked out, but none of it is free. And unfortunately, everything we do costs money, so to launch this is going to be about 10 million. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing a crowdfunding at GoFundMe for two reasons. One is to show them once I get out there that people are interested in the project and they're willing to put their money where the mouth is. And two, to raise the funds. I need to raise about 15,000 to get out there for a couple of months. As we know, LA is not cheap, and I'm gonna have to have hotel room, cab fare to get around everywhere I need to go, food to eat, etc. Supplies I need to buy, order, etc. So that's what I'm doing right now. So if anybody wants to get involved, you can go to attiladomos.com, and I have links over there. You can check out everything that I do. I'm sorry, a bug. You can check out everything I do from my music, current and old. You can see videos from my old band days and
Oh,
playing at
cool.
the legendary Someplace Else here in Pittsburgh. Um, my book, like I said, videos. What I did most of this actually while I was stuck in bed. And I know I'm a little bit all over the place talking here, but what happened is in 2010, after I won the Pittsburgh Marathon, I came down with skin breakdown issues. It's very common for people in wheelchairs. And it was actually about a week before the race where I noticed like a little cyst on my left buttock. But I wasn't going to go to the hospital because once they cut it open, I can't race, you know. So I sort of whistled past the graveyard like most guys, and the race came and went. I won, and then a week later, I still haven't gone to the hospital. My then girlfriend and I, we went to see Iron Man 2, came out on that day. So, but I got real sick. I got real sick at the movies. I couldn't even eat. We went to Bravo's, and I love Bravo's, and I couldn't eat. So when we went home, I started throwing up everywhere, and I said, well, I guess I better go in the hospital and get checked out. Well, we went in the next morning, and they cut me open, and they said, well, the good news is that it's cyst, and it's drained. The bad news is that you have a tennis ball size hole in there. I'm like,
Wow.
you know, yeah. Well, what happened is I had a skin breakdown about 6 years before, maybe 7 or 8 years before, and I healed it myself. And what happened is some bacteria got trapped in the left side,
Mm.
and it started eating away at my flesh, and I had no idea,
Oh my gosh.
because yeah, it was a nightmare. It turned into a
Well, it's a good
nightmare.
thing you got
So
that cyst then
I
to
ended
bring
up.
it.
I'm sorry.
I said it's a good thing that that cyst showed up, so you were able to discover that.
Right, you're
Yeah.
right. So I ended up stuck in bed for 3.5 years.
Wow.
It just
Wow.
became a nightmare. And about a year before this all happened, I was out in LA hanging out with some friends, and everybody insisted that I write a book. They're like, because everybody wants to know, well, what happened? How did you end up in a wheelchair? That's the number one question that you get from anybody. How did you end up in that wheelchair? And then, we got from one story to another. I got into about my time in the Vienna Boys Choir, and, then my music, the recording deal, all that stuff. So they're like, dude, you really need to write a book. And I'm not a writer. I mean, I write song lyrics and stuff, but that's totally different from I can make up words for song lyrics. So
We've got to talk.
yeah, okay. So so I figured, okay, I'm in bed. I might as well go ahead and write the book now. And my friend Chad, he's an editor, lives out in LA. He edited the book for me and helped me out with it. And what's funny is, it basically became a what did you do this summer kind of project. Remember you guys, we all had to write that kind of stuff in school, right? What
Right.
did you do in the summer? You write it. That's basically what it became, writing about my life. So what I did is I wrote down everything I could remember that was even remotely interesting. And then we picked and chose whatever, different chapters. And so that took about a year. And I thought for sure that I was going to be healed by the time the book is finished. But no, that wasn't the case. So then one day I was playing my Nintendo Wii, which was a lot of fun. And by the way, I almost got a world record on Frisbee golf on Nintendo Wii. I'm really close. I'm like one hole away.
You're setting records all over the place.
I know. But I really wanted it. I was like, I want that record. I'm so close. I never got it. So whoever has the record,
Darn.
congratulations. You beat me by one. But so I turned on my Wii system the one day, and it has a little globe that spins. And I'm looking at the globe, and then I got the idea. I said, boy, did anybody swim all that, And so I started looking into it, and I did find one kid at the time in 1999 who swam the Atlantic. So I looked up what he was doing. It was really interesting. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put it together. And my then girlfriend came in, and I told her this, and initially she looked at me like, I had a third eye. And then she thought about it, because when I started explaining it to her, she said, well, that actually makes a lot of sense. So I started putting together, what to do, etc. But that didn't, I'm still there. I'm still in bed, right? So I got this plan together. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? I'm still in bed. So then I started recording, doing more music. But since I couldn't use my recording studio, I used what was available to me, which was my laptop and a lot of different sound loops. So I took the music Nosferatu. Are you guys familiar with the movie Nosferatu? It's a
Yes.
1922 classic.
Yes.
So, okay, so what I did is I downloaded the movie and I re-scored it. I did the music to it, but it's very digital. Sort of think like Nine Inch Nails, not Nine Inch Nails. I love Trent,
Yeah.
but ish. So it's sort of techno. It's a mixture of techno, house, electronica, and I put very digital music to a very, very audio or analog movie. And it actually turned out pretty cool. And you can see it. If you guys are interested, you can go to my website. It's all there.
Yeah.
And tell us your website
I still
again,
wasn't.
Attila.
It's just my
AttilaDomos.com.
name, AttilaDomos.com. Yes.
And the
so
spelling is just like Attila the Hun, right? And the last name is Domos.
MOS. Yeah, I tell people it's like Domino's, the end.
Okay.
Somebody has a lot of music going on. Is that? I don't think that's on my end. Is there?
That's Christina's house.
Yeah, it's probably
Oh,
my house
okay.
here. It's a kid.
Okay.
Turn the TV up on me. Let me turn it down.
Okay. But yeah, another thing I actually did is right before I ended up in bed, right before I ended up getting stuck in bed, what I did, I was asked to score the music for a chess video game, and I did this one for no charge because the guy who put together the game, he's a grand wizard or whatever it's called, like a chess master, and he lives in New York City and he works with inner city youth there. And he created the game to help inner city youth learn the game of chess, ergo understand how to problem solve. And I thought it was a very cool project, so I did that one, for free, no charge. And but what I did is I wrote a song called there was Queen Nefertiti, and that was for when the Queen, when the game's over. And that turned out to be one of my most popular songs. I mean, it's gotten over 1,000 hits, I think, on Facebook alone, and everybody's like, I love that song, because think of Queen Nefertiti. She was the wife of the king Tutankhamun's father, Akhenaten, in Egypt. We're going back to about 3,500 years in Egypt, so that's what the song is based on, and it's a lot of chanting, is what it is. So it's Middle Eastern Egyptian sounding with an electronica grind to it. So people just seem to really love it. So hopefully when I get out to LA, I'll sell it to, a show or something. Who knows? But there was another song I did called Mind of Adam. And that song kind of haunted me because it wanted to be more than a song. So it grew into a video, and then it grew into a story. And before I knew it, while I was stuck in bed, I created a 22-minute short film based on the song that I did for a chess video game. And it's crazy how an idea can go just from thinking it's one thing and growing into this big gigantic thing. And it's actually, if you watch it, there's enough information there that you can actually make a TV series or a movie, with sequels out of it, So this is the things I love about life is that, you have one little idea and before you know it, it's this big giant thing. And that's sort of how all my ideas tend to go, and hence now we have Around the World. And if all goes well, I'm 47 now. I'm looking to launch when I'm 50. And for a couple of reasons. One, because that's still about 2.5 years away, and it gives me a chance. This is a big project to put together. And two, there's a big perception in people's minds between 49 and 50. You tell them, the media says 49-year-old man swims the Atlantic, and people are like, wow. You say 50-year-old, they're like, oh my God, like, that's really unbelievable. Perception is reality, so that's how people view it.
Yeah. Well, my goodness, Attila, what a wonderful story and what ambition you have to share, inspiration with so many people in this world to do what you're planning to do. Appreciate you coming on and sharing your story with us. Christina, do you have any last questions for Attila or Kelly?
I hear a little bit of an accent. Have you always been in the United States, or where are you originally from?
I'm from Transylvania in Romania.
Okay.
I'm Hungarian. I'm Hungarian, born in Romania, and we moved to the U.S. in 1980 when I was 12.
Awesome.
And we spent 2 years in Austria before that, and lived in Austria. And for one of those years, I was with the Vienna Boys Choir, which was a really cool experience that I didn't appreciate at that time. Because, I was 10 years old when I was in a choir. And the last thing, and at the same time, we lived in a refugee camp. So, inside the refugee camp, you sort of had to run with gangs, and by gangs, I mean, you had to run with your own kind, whether it was Hungarians, Romanians, Czechoslovakians, Bulgarians, Russians, whoever. Everybody ran in their own gangs. And the last thing I wanted people to know was that I was a choir boy. I didn't want anybody to find that out. Because that would not have helped, my cause. And I was a little kid. I was 10, and I was always little for my size, so I always had to deal with bullies and such, no matter where I went. So as you can imagine, being a choir boy is not what you want people to know.
Okay, so do we get just a little demo of that beautiful voice?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think of singing, so I can't
One
even
little
think of
line?
what to sing. If anybody's birthday out there, how about happy birthday to you? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear, whoever you are. Happy birthday to you. I'm sure it's somebody's birthday, right?
It's my birthday month. It's the whole month is my birthday. So hey,
It's yours.
Look at that.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah. I turned 40 on
women
the
love women love to turn to her birthday month, man. My ex-wife used to be like, she'd be like, it's my birthday week, and then before you know it, it was birthday month. So
yeah, that's right. Hey,
guys are
any
just
reason
like, all
to
right, get this
celebrate.
day over with. Yeah. Yeah. It's not. I'll tell you what.
Well,
At 47, my birthdays aren't.
You are truly unbelievable, Attila. It's great to hear more about you. Thanks.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
sorry.
Thank you.
You cut out.
Oh, I said you are truly an unbelievable human being, and it's wonderful to hear more about you. And thank you
Oh,
for
thank
joining
you.
us.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, ladies.
much.
Thank you for
Attila,
having me.
joining us.
I had a
Thank you,
great time.
Attila.
Our
Okay.
pleasure.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Do I just sign off
Bye.
now, or will you sign me off?
Either way works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.